Welcome to GQ India's first ever food and drink festival. Today, I'm in conversation with a dynamic designer duo that helped redefine the idea of easy luxury in the world of Indian fashion. It's my pleasure to introduce Shivan Bhatia and Naresh Kukreja, known in the sartorial universe as Shivan and Naresh. They started off as the country's first luxury swimwear designers, then foraying into resort wear, and finally bridal couture. As they turn a decade old, they celebrate making their mark in a discerning industry for their flamboyant prints, bold use of color, and avant-garde silhouettes. Today, they're here with us to launch the custom-designed Shivan and Naresh limited edition of the iconic Chivas 12. We're going to be the first to see it, and we're excited. Please welcome Shivan and Naresh. Thank you guys for being here. I love what you're wearing.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having us. Thanks.
We have so much to talk about, so should we just dive right in?
Absolutely, sure.
So for starters, tell us a little about the Shivan and Naresh aesthetic.
I think three simple words for me: bold, confident, and sophisticated. And an amalgamation of travel and art.
Tell us about hitting the big 1-0 in a year like 2020 amidst a global pandemic and how that's changed plans.
It's almost like a reset button, honestly. Like right at the time when we've turned a decade old, it's made us sit down, and it was inevitable that we had to look within, and this just came at the right time. I can't say for the world, but yes, that it made us sit down, make us think as to what we're doing and where we're heading as a brand.
So what, according to Shivan and Naresh, is the perfect drinks over Zoom outfit?
For me, it would be a linen t-shirt with a linen pajama. Honestly, I'm a big fan of white linens, and I can probably live with them the whole day. I think just an easy home kaftan is the best thing to lounge in and still look glamorous on your Zoom screen.
Tell us a little about your new couture capsule collection that finds its roots in the change in the fashion space post-pandemic.
The new couture edit by Shivan Narresh is only 9 looks, and we were very, very conscious in putting them out. They've all been designed for a very, very discerning audience. There is an impeccable eye for craftsmanship when you see the pieces up close. The colors are very muted, and it's really been designed for smaller, intimate weddings where you know that you're going to be that up close with the bride and groom, sharing that their best part of their lives together, up close with them. So it's been designed to keep it very light, very, very friendly on functionality, and pretty high on design. It's just basically designed to be absolutely elegant, for you to look your best and feel refreshed and easy at the wedding that you want to be at.
Do you feel like fashion finds its way well beyond clothing? Like, for instance, is the Chivas 12 limited edit that you've designed, do you feel like it's an extension of that?
Oh, absolutely. I think every designer has their distinct design universe, and how much do you extend this brand universe to encapsulate different lifestyles and product lines is something that's really in your own hands. And I think with Chivas 12, this has been an excellent opportunity for us to really do that. Dip Chivas 12 in our design universe and present this limited edition back and forward.
You've actually worked with Chivas in the past at the Blend. Was that sort of the experience that sired this collaboration and the thought of designing the special packaging for them?
Absolutely, that's how it actually started. It started with the Blend, and we were really focusing on different notes of Chivas, and to have dedicated a print each to one of these notes. And then eventually the Blend print came together, which was a blending of all these 4 prints, much like these notes are blended for Chivas to make the signature Chivas 12. And that's what then led to designing the packaging and this limited edition box that gets launched today with all of you.
That's really interesting. In fact, I was just about to ask how the notes of the Blend make their way into the specific design elements that you've used on the bottle. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
So the Chivas
12 is a blend of four top notes, which is one is creamy, which is depicted by the print pralay, and the other one is a citrus note, which is depicted by the print sour sop of ours. And the last two,
the two more notes, there's fruity and there's floral. So fruity is depicted by one, which is also what Shivan's wearing. And then finally we have the floral print, floral note, which is represented by Eden, which is behind me.
So that all these four notes come together and make a Chivas 12, which is what this packaging is all about.
You've been Fashion Week veterans for nearly a decade. What was it like doing it digitally this year?
Very different actually. I think it came with its own share of challenges and advantages. I think the challenges rose from location to crowd management to logistics and COVID tests and taking a big crew of 50 people to a destination to shoot. And I think the advantages were plenty too. I think it most importantly for me to really make people travel with the brand and make this show an absolute experience to watch, which is something you can only do digitally because you can genuinely transport people on a destination. And most importantly, it also democratizes good design. And I feel like you reach out to a lot more people. As of yesterday, it was, I think, one of the most watched fashion film of the country with over 2 lakh views.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, I mean, in a series of shows that were actually receiving a lot of criticism, yours was the one that, I mean, it was a fabulous show, but it was the one that was receiving so much praise. Everywhere I looked, everybody's like, this is the way to do it. Shivan Narresh has done it right. How did it feel? I mean, like, get into a space that was, it was uncharted territory, and then to do so well at that space.
We got truckloads of compliments and we are already so overwhelmed and so happy about it. It was honestly, we wanted to keep it very simple. It had to be a fashion runway presentation. Even though it was digital, but we wanted to make sure that the essence of a fashion runway is intact while we made sure that people travel with us at the same time. So we kind of created a whole beach setting and we made all the models sit by the beach, and at the same time there was a presentation going on, and it just was simply able to transport people on a runway yet at a holiday.
Are you a straight whiskey drinker, or do you have a favorite whiskey cocktail?
I think old fashioned is the way to go for me.
A nice whiskey sour.
What's your first whiskey memory? Like, what's the first time that you recall at least having a fond memory?
It was the first for me. My first whiskey memory was when we dressed Dita Ortiz on a maiden trip to India, and we wanted to celebrate it in a big way.
For me, PCO becomes a big place to kind of as a Delhi bar where I experience a lot of old fashions, and that for me is a perfect whiskey memory.
What would you say? I mean, knowing the idea of what a Chivas man entails, what the Shivan and Narresh man entails, and what the GQ man entails, what do you think is the confluence of the three?
I think being a gentleman and being chivalrous, I think these are the two most important things that a man can bring as a part of who he is, and it's also something that he should bring, because I feel these are two things that really define a man.
I feel like sharpness and respecting your surrounding is just the two key for a man to hold his ground.
That actually leads me perfectly into my next question, because I was going to ask you about the idea of chivalry and the fact that in today's social culture, even though it simply stands for the core idea of kindness and respect, and it's something that the Chivas brand so deeply evokes, and it ties in with the GQ ethos perfectly, because what is a GQ man if he's not a gentleman first?
Yeah.
Do you think that chivalry tends to be a lost art in 2020?
I think chivalry gets misunderstood. It's just basic empathy for anyone who's around you or within the context that you're at. So as far as you're empathetic as a human being and you care about who's with you, around you, you'll always be a chivalrous man, and that's the only way to be.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to crack open this gorgeous custom edition. Thank you so much for being here with us and launching the special edition with us today. It was lovely speaking to you, Shivan and Narresh.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us.